Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Anne. On today's tutorial we are going to be working up this gorgeous sweater. What you'll need for the measurement, you'll need your hips measurement and the length from your shoulders to your thighs. We'll start by working our back panel and then work up our front panel and then work up our sleeves, and finally we are going to work up our turtleneck area. The pattern is quite beginner friendly really. Anyway, you can follow me on my Instagram and on my TikTok. Thank you so much for subscribing and thank you for being here. Let's go ahead and get started. We will be using this yarn. It's called Super Saver Dare to Create, and the yarn recommends a 3.5 to a 4.5 millimeter hook. You should have 5 of these brand of yarn. I believe that is going to be enough for you if you're making a size medium. We'll use a tape measure and we'll also use a 3.5 millimeter hook. We are going to start by making a slip stitch, and then you're going to start by making your very first chain. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So make a chain of 124. Your chain should measure up to 30 inches if you're making a size medium. So after you've made your 124 stitches, you're going to chain 1, and on the second stitch from the hook, you're going to make a single crochet. On the next stitch, make a single crochet, and onto the next stitch, make a single crochet. And you're going to make single crochet on the first 18 stitches. After you've made 18 single crochet, on the next remaining stitches we are going to be making half double crochet stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through. You're going to be repeating these half double crochet stitches until you are on your last stitch. We are on our very last stitch. Make a half double crochet. We are going to chain 2, and on the very first stitch you're going to make a back loop, half double crochet, and we are going to keep making back loop, half double crochets. So yarn over, insert your hook in the back loop only, pull through, yarn over, insert your hook in the back loop only, pull through, yarn over, insert your hook in the back loop only, and pull through. And you are going to be repeating this until you get to the point where you have your 18 single crochet stitches, and I will meet you guys there. We are at the point where we made our single crochet stitches, so we are going to make back loop single crochet on the 18 single crochets that we made. So make back loop single crochet. You're only inserting your hook in the back loops only. We are done with our second row. We are going to move on to our third row. Chain 1, and then on the back loops make single crochets on the back loops only on the first 18 stitches. and ensure you count your stitches so that you don't miss any stitch. On the next stitches, we are going to make back loop, half double crochet stitches until you get to the end of your third row. We are done with our third row. For the next rows, we are going to repeat our third row until we have a total number of 56 rows for our back panel. For the next row, we are going to repeat row 3 until we have 56 rows for our back panel, and I will meet you after that. We are done with our back panel. In total, we have a total number of 56 rows or 20 inches. And for you to get the exact measurement for your size, you're going to take your tape measure, measure your hips. My hips measures up to 41 inches, so you're going to divide that by 2. So when I divide that by 2, I'll have about 20.5. So these measures up to 20 inches, but when I stretch it, it gets up to 20.5 and some more inches. So that is the measurement you're going to be using. So for me, my back panel measures up to 20 inches, and that is for a size medium. For our front panel, we are going to make it the same way we made the back panel. We are going to make a total number of 56 rows, the same way we made the back panel. Okay, so both panels are similar. The front panel and the back panel are similar. They both have 56 rows of half double crochet. So we are going to join our panels together. We're going to start with our shoulder area. First things first, you're going to count 20 rows on the shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. You're going to put a stitch marker on your 20th row, and you're going to count 20 rows on the back panel as well. So count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Put a stitch marker on your 20th row as well. We are going to join the 20 rows together. So take your yarn and make a slip stitch. Once you make a slip stitch, you're going to join your slip stitch on your very first stitch, the corner stitch right here. Pull through your yarn, then chain 1, and in the same stitch make a single crochet, and in the same stitch make another single crochet. And you're going to move on to the next stitch and make 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Move on in the next stitch, ensure they are matching up on both sides. Place 2 single crochets in the same stitch. We are going to repeat this until we get to the point where we placed our stitch markers on both panels, and I will meet you guys there. We are at the point where we placed our stitch markers. We're going to create our very last stitch, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through. So this is what you should have once you are done with one shoulder. We are going to do the same for our other side. So you're going to count 20 rows on the front side and 20 rows on the back panel, and then you're going to join them together. And now we are going to be left with our neckline. For our sides, we are going to join both our front panel and our back panel together so that we can have our armhole. We are going to start joining from the bottom right here. We are going to go through both loops on this side and the back loop on the other side, and we are going to make a slip stitch to join everything together. You're going to chain one, and on the same stitch make your very first single crochet. On the next stitch, go through the back loop and go through both loops on the other side using single crochet, and you are just going to keep joining your work using single crochets. We are just going to keep attaching our sides. And we are going to stop at this point where we placed a stitch marker. For you to know where to place your stitch marker, count 40 stitches on both sides. So this side we have 40 stitches, place a stitch marker on the 40th stitch. The other side we have 40 stitches, place a stitch marker on the 40th stitch, and that's where you're going to stop joining your work. So from here we're going to start making our sleeve. Remove your stitch markers. We are going to start making our sleeve. You'll start by chaining 2, and on our next stitch we're going to make our half double crochet. On the next stitch, make half double crochet stitch. So we are just going to keep making half double crochet in every stitch, and we are working on our wrong side first. So you're going to keep making half double crochet stitch until you get to this joining part, the shoulder part. We are at our shoulder area, so we're going to yarn over, insert your hook in this stitch, yarn over and insert your hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and you're going to make them into one stitch. And for the next stitches, you're just going to keep making half double crochet stitches, no increase or decrease, just half double crochet stitches. We are on our very last stitch. So after this row, we are done with our very first row. We are going to turn our work onto the right side, and we are not joining our row at this point. No, we are just turning our work first onto the right side. We are going to chain 2, and on this stitch you're going to make a half double crochet in the back loop only. So make half double crochets in the back loops only for the second row. Keep repeating this until you get to this point on the other side, and I will meet you guys there. Once you get to the end of the row, you're just chaining 2, and then you turn your work and you continue making back loop, half double crochet. So you're going to be repeating row 2 until you have a total number of 30 rows, and then I will meet you guys after that. This is how our sleeve looks like. We've made a total number of 30 rows, and as you can see, we've not joined these two parts together. We are going to start making our cuff area, and we are making our cuff area at this point. We're going to start by making a chain of 16. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16. You're going to chain 1, and on the second stitch from the hook you're going to make your slip stitch, and the next make a slip stitch. So you're going to make slip stitches until you get to the bottom of your chain. You should have a total number of 16 slip stitches. This is our very last stitch. You're going to make our last slip stitch, then you're going to skip one. Now our work is turning this way. We're going to skip this one stitch, and onto the next stitch we are going to make a slip stitch. The next stitch after that make a slip stitch, and the next stitch after that make a slip stitch. So we've made 3 slip stitches and we skipped one. Then we are going to turn our work and we are going to start making slip stitches on our row. So make slip stitches on our chain row until you get to the top of our row. And on this row we are making back loop slip stitches. We are at the end of our first row. We are going to chain 1, then we are going to turn our work and we are going to make back loop slip stitches until you get to the bottom of our stitches. So make back loop slip stitches and count your stitches. When you get to this point, you should ensure you have a total number of 16 stitches, same number of stitches you started your row with. So we are going to skip one stitch, this stitch right here, and we're going to slip stitch in the next stitch, slip stitch in the next one, and the next one. So slip stitch in 3 stitches, then you're going to turn your work and don't chain 1 or anything. We are just going to go directly into this part of our work, make a slip stitch and keep making slip stitches until you get to the end of this row. We are at the top here. We are only chaining 1 when we get to this side. So chain 1 and then turn your work and you're going to make back loop slip stitches like usual, and I will meet you guys at the bottom. We are back at this point where we started. We are going to skip one stitch, this stitch, and onto the next 3 stitches we are going to make slip stitches. For our cuff area, you're going to repeat the same thing until you get to the end of your cuff area, which is this point, and I will meet you guys there. We have 4 stitches left. We are at the end. Let's finish off this row together. So we are just going to keep making back loop slip stitches So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is our last stitch, 16. You're going to skip one and you're going to make slip stitches in the last 2 stitches. We only have 2 left, and then we're going to turn our work and we are going to make our final row of slip stitches. This is what our sleeve looks like. We've turned it to the wrong side, so we are going to start joining from this corner, the armpit area. Cut off your yarn from this side and take that yarn and make a slip stitch, and we're going to start attaching from this corner. Make your very first stitch, make a chain of 1, and in the same stitch make a single crochet, and moving on into the next stitch make a single crochet. And we are going to be making 2 single crochets in the half double crochet stitches. So join these on the other side, make 2 single crochet, join this on this side, on the other side as well, make 2 single crochet, join this on this side, the other side as well, make 2 single crochet in the same stitch. We are going to repeat this until we get to our cuff area, and I will meet you guys there. We are at our cuff area. On this area we are going to be making slip stitches. So you're going to be going through both loops on one side, and the opposite side go through the back loop only. Both loops on one side, on the opposite side go through the back loop only, and make slip stitches instead of single crochets. We are on our last stitch, so make a slip stitch on this stitch and make 1 more slip stitch. Cut off your yarn, this is what your sleeve looks like on the wrong side. We're going to sew in our ends, and then we're going to repeat the same thing we did on this side, and we're going to do it on the other side of our sleeve as well, and I will meet you guys after that. For the neckline, we left 16 stitches or 16 rows on both sides of our neckline. So the front panel has 16 rows and the back panel has 16 rows of half double crochet. So we are going to add these 2 numbers together. So 16 plus 16, we're going to get 12. We're going to get 32 stitches. When you get 32 stitches or 32 half double crochet stitches, so what you're going to do in those stitches, we are going to be making 2 single crochet in every stitch. So we are going to take 32 and we are going to multiply that by 2, and that is going to give us 64 single crochet stitches. Okay, and on the corner stitch of both sides of our panel, the corners, we are going to be adding 1 more stitch in every corner. So we add, the front panel has 2 corners, the beginning point 1 plus 1, that is 2, and the back side has 2 more, and that is going to give us 68 stitches. And we are going to add 2 more single crochet stitches. This is going to give us 70 stitches, and this is the number we are going to use to make our turtleneck area. And the reason as to why I'm increasing this 64 to 70, it's because I'll be using a 3mm hook to make our neckline instead of a 3.5, just because I want our neckline to be a bit cinched up. Our first part is going to be 16 rows and the other part is going to be 16 rows as well. In total, you should have 70 single crochet for the neckline if you're making the same size as I am. To make our turtleneck, we are going to make a slip stitch and we are going to be using a 3mm hook just because we want our neckline to be a bit cinched up. So we are going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Chain 24. And this should measure up to 6 inches. After you've made 24 stitches, you're going to chain 1 and on the back loop, you're going to make a single crochet and you're going to be placing single crochets we are at the end of our first row. We're going to move on to our second row and you should ensure you have a total number of 24 stitches. So you're going to chain 1 and on the back loops you're going to be placing single crochets on the back loops only. We are at the end of our second row. We're going to chain 1 and move on to our third row and we are going to be placing back loop single crochets until you get to the end of your row. We are done with our third row. We are going to be repeating row 3 until we have 70 rows in total. We are going to be repeating row 3 until we have 70 rows in total. And I will meet you guys after you're done with your 70 rows. We are done with our neckline. So it should measure up to 6 inches and your neckline should be foldable. So you start counting from the first one. This is our first row, 1, 2, 3, up to our last one, which is our 70th row. First things first, ensure you've made your single crochet rows on your neckline first. Anyway, before we join these to our neckline, we are going to make single crochets on top of these stitches, so don't cut off your yarn. Make a chain of 1 and on the very first stitch put a single crochet. Onto the next stitch put a single crochet and on the third stitch put a single crochet. Fourth stitch put a single crochet, and we are going to be making single crochet on top of every stitch until we have a total number of 70 single crochets. We are going to attach this to our neckline on the wrong side. We're going to start from one corner to another, go through both loops on this stitch, and on this opposite stitch go through the back loop and then insert your hook and pull through your yarn and make a slip stitch just like that. Go through the same loop and go through the back loop and make a single crochet. Okay, just like that. On this side, go through the back loop, go through both loops, but go through the back loop on the opposite side and attach your work using single crochet. Keep attaching your work using single crochet until you get back to this point where you started your row, and I will meet you guys there. We are on our very last stitch. We're going to attach our work at that point, just like that, and then we are going to go through this stitch again and attach our work there. Pull through. After you are done attaching the bottom part of our neck, we're going to attach our neckline going this way. So we are going to go through our first stitch, which is this one. We're going to go through our back loop, and on the opposite stitch we are going to go through both loops. We are going to go through this one, and on the opposite side go through both loops. We want to form this type of ribbing so that when you fold over, this ribbing is similar to this and this, so that when you fold over your collar you don't notice any difference. So go through this loop and go through both loops on the other side. Go through that loop, go through both loops on the opposite side, that loop. So repeat this until you get to the top here. So we are done making our single crochet row. This is what you should have. It should look as seamless as possible. So we are going to chain 2, and then we are going to cut off our yarn, and we are going to start by sewing in all our ends. You sew your ends on the wrong side. Turn your work to the right side. This is what our right side looks like, and this is our neckline. So we are going to fold our neckline just like that, and this should be able to go through your head seamlessly. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for being here. Let me know what you think in the comment down below. Have a good day. Bye bye.